social media companies, they can't just say whack-a-mole is hard. Okay, because this isn't whack-a-mole. Because in the game of whack-a-mole, the mole doesn't jump out and shoot Black Americans in grocery stores. Okay, it's more serious than that. They need to be fully focused on this, or they need to suffer the consequences. And I do think there is a role for Congress here, and that pressure needs to be on the companies to take action.
Hey, it's Mazzy here, and welcome back to another Whack-A-Mole. Now, you saw that intro, so you know this is going to be a different Whack-A-Mole. Turn this off right now if you can't handle or don't want to listen to my opinions, my political opinions, socially political opinions mixed in with music. I've done about 900 videos. This is one of maybe a dozen, no more than that, where I do a little bit of a rant, a little bit of discussion, because to me, politics and music go hand in hand, from folk music to protest music to punk music to R&B, soul music, rock and roll, revolution, the Rolling Stones, Street Fighting Man. Politics, social discussion are a big part of music, and they go hand in hand, and I like to showcase that when things come up, and this is a sad time right now. And that intro that you just saw of that pundit that I happened to capture recently on television, he happens to be a Republican, former Republican, and he actually worked in the Trump administration. And like a number of well-meaning Republicans, maybe someone I don't agree with in terms of political issues, which is totally fair. We have our differences politically, no problem. It's never been a problem as far as I'm concerned in America. But he got pushed out of the Republican Party because a large segment of the Republican Party believes in the big lie, believes in the lie, and bows down to whatever Trump says. And in fact, unfortunately, the Republican platform, there is no platform. The Republicans recently adopted a no platform. Basically, whatever Trump says, that's the platform. How scary, how crazy is that? Now, on the Democrat-Republican side, of course, there are Democrats that are wonky, there's Republicans that are wonky, but there is a difference in the two parties right now. The Democrats, whether you like certain policies or not, and you don't like maybe certain personalities a lot, they don't believe in the big lie. The big lie is it's a danger to democracy right now. There was no voter fraud in 2020. Republicans and Democrats alike checked it out. Each state capital checked it out. They did counts, recounts, in many cases 3-4 recounts, and Joe Biden won the presidency by a lot, both in the popular vote and in the Electoral College. So that whole big lie theory, a third of America believe. How stupid are you to believe that? And if you don't bow down to Donald Trump and you're a Republican, you're out, which is really sick. Now, what's happening, people are dying now. People are dying because of this kind of shit. And this is not my bullshit rhetoric and my conspiracy thing. It's Republicans believe in the conspiracy. They believe that immigrants and people of color are replacing white people to make white people a minority. The Jewish cabal is replacing white people. We're pro-abortion, we're pro-choice because we want white women to have less babies so more immigrants can have babies to make America less white, less white. How obscene is that? And there are some good Republicans that I may not agree with, like that gentleman at the beginning, but he believes in the truth, in the reality out there. And there's a good segment of those, like Liz Cheney with the January 6th committee, And she's someone that I don't agree with at all in terms of her political opinions and agenda at all. However, she believes in the truth and follows the law and is digging down to see what happened. Now, what's dangerous about this, and again, that intro with that gentleman was discussing whack-a-moles and how, the whack-a-mole, you know, sometimes I use those for a little humor at the beginning, but this is not that. When I saw that, I had to capture that video and talk about the replacements. Obviously, this is the Minneapolis sort of grungy post-punk band in the early 80s, and this is a live Record Store Day, I believe, recording. I say this just as a visual reference to Replacement. This young 18-year-old who drove 200 miles and killed 10 African Americans in a supermarket. It's just one example of the bullshit that's going on and the dangerous side of these conspiracy theories, talking about how Black people and people of color are replacing white people in America. And the biggest threat right now, in terms of America, we all came together after 9/11 when the Twin Towers and the Pentagon and 9/11 happened, and the destruction there from foreign outside entities. Right now, the danger is, and the biggest danger and threat in America is the violent white supremacist. Now, having different opinions and discussion and vote and, politically charged debate and protest is fine. But when people are killing people, when 45% of these violent acts are conducted by white supremacist groups, violent white supremacist groups, it is a scary situation. The irony in this, anti-abortion thing, all these states are adopting these laws now to deprive a woman's right to choose. Now, religion should not be a part of this. If you believe and you're anti-abortion, don't get an abortion. Don't subscribe to it. But America is not a religious-based country. Freedom of religion and freedom from religion. And not everyone believes. In fact, 69% of America want to keep Roe versus Wade intact as is. And some will say it should be states' rights, it shouldn't be a national thing. The problem is, a lot of these states that are enacting these rights, poor middle-class women aren't going to have a choice. And we're going to go back to backroom abortions, and women are going to die. And it's a sad, sad state of affairs. So that's my rant in this. I'm going to pull a whack-a-mole. It's obviously going to be more somber. I'm not going to be a cut-up like I might be on other areas. So 5 random pulls. And again, I really do appreciate you standing, hanging in here and listening to me rant again. My channel, my thoughts, my opinions. I don't even have to say in my honest opinion, although I just did. These are my personal thoughts, and I get riled up when these kind of things happen. And right now, it's a really dangerous time, limiting people's access to the polls based on falsehoods, based on fake news. And we really are in store for something. So if people don't vote, everyone automatically should be able to vote. And you really need to go out and vote in this upcoming election. And, just do it. So anyway, whack-a-mole, 5 random picks. One. 2. 3. 4. 5. Brother Ray Charles, modern sounds in country and western swing, western music, not western swing. I mean, one of the great R&B artists, just a great piano player. I think everyone knows Ray Charles, but he did a series of country records that are just country soul to its finest. And it was an interesting thing at the time, the crossover from African American artists, black artists doing country music. And these were very popular records. Bye Bye Love, Just a Little Lovin', Born to Lose, Worried Mind, You Win Again, the Hank Williams song, some originals, Don Gibson songs, again, Hey Good Lookin'. These are fun records, and it's just a really great, these are big records in the time on ABC Paramount Records. So Ray Charles, there we go, the first Whack-A-Mole. Oh, Violent Femmes. This is their debut record. Yeah, debut. I love this cover. They're in a way like a skiffle group. They're a trio, very acoustic bass, stand-up bass, snare drum, brushes. I first saw them at the I-Beam on Haight Street when they first came to San Francisco, when this album came out. I mean, Blister in the Sun is such a fantastic song. Kiss Off is kind of how I feel to these people right now in terms of this politically charged Whack-A-Mole. Kiss Off is the perfect song. Gone Daddy Gone, of course, another hit too. But just a really great band. And I've seen them maybe 3-4 times over the years. This is their debut on, this is a Kraft reissue, but I believe this was on Sire Records, am I right? Warner Brothers or Sire, maybe Reprise. I should know that. I used to have an original and I kind of traded it away in the mid-90s, but this is a fantastic record, Violent Femmes. Okay, number 3. This is a timely too. Times They Are Changin'. His most protest record, I mean, the song Times They Are Changin' is just an amazing, it's a tour de force, and it's a great song, and it's a beautiful, frightening song. Also on here, I think one of the most beautiful songs on here, which is scary and maybe somewhat adaptable or aligns with what's going on today, is The Lonesome Death of Hattie Carroll. Horrible, based on a true story. They're only a pawn in their game, With God on Our Side, Too Many Mornings, Ballad of Hollis Brown. Dylan had his hand on the pulse of what was happening in America in 1964 with the civil rights movement. And this record, maybe above all, is the one. He started out with, some more traditional folk songs and covers, and started writing, and he had his hand on the pulse and on the hand of what was happening in America, politically, socially. And this is a really important record, and I just love this record. This is a stereo version. This is a 70s press from the Maslow collection, Bob Dylan, and I'm kind of glad I picked a Dylan record here. Okay. Music from the motion picture by Ray Davies, Return to Waterloo. This is the film isn't interesting, but what's great about it is the music. Obviously, Ray Davies are the Kinks, and Return to Waterloo is on here. This is not the Kinks, although it has Mick Avery on drums and other artists. It's almost like lo-fi or semi-acoustic versions of some of the Kinks' style of music. And, I've never seen the film. He plays almost like a troubadour in the film, as I recall. I've seen clips of it. But for some reason, as much as a Kinks fan I am, I don't know why, I've never seen Return to Waterloo. He directed it. He performs in it. And the Kinks, Ray Davies. Not a must-have. Okay. Oh, okay. This is interesting. Curtis Mayfield. There's No Place Like America Today. This is 1975. This album, as I recall, when it came out, didn't do really well, at least on the pop charts. I think it did fine on the soul charts. There was one hit off it, a semi-hit. I think it was it When Seasons Change? I don't remember. But what's interesting about this, I mean, again, this cover painting, this is my photography background actually comes in here, because this painting was based on a famous photograph by the photographer Margaret Bourke White, who really one of the photographers that documented the Depression, worked for Life magazine, and they changed this. There's no place like America. What was her? They changed the last word today, and now I'm blanking out on that. So I failed you in this particular pull that way. But I mean, in the mid 1970s, of course, in America, this was during the Nixon administration, and post civil rights, but there was still obviously the struggles in American cities in American cities and in the urban areas with African Americans and people of color and white people. I mean, too, obviously. But this is an amazing socially political music. It is a little funky, but it's almost like smooth funk. It's not an uptight Curtis Mayfield, like Superfly, funky, fast record. It's a soothing record with some flourishes of soulful funk music. But it's got a steady pattern of mood, more than maybe all his other records, I think, as I recall. And I didn't get into this record for a long time. I remember when this came out on Warner Brothers, and I didn't get into it for a number of years. But when I got into it, I think it's a really great record, and it's an important record on the docket from Curtis Mayfield. So there you go. 5 Whack-A-Moles and Mazzy's political rants. I really appreciate you staying around and listening, and it's a strange time there. So seek the truth out, avoid and don't believe the conspiracy theories, because they are just that, conspiracy theories. And I know I get comments when I do these of people believing things that are fake news, and that sleepy Joe Biden is the worst thing in America. He's striving for the truth. Whatever you think about him and the Democrats now are trying to find the truth with the January 6th, with all these things that are happening in the world. And for a party to adopt someone like Donald Trump and believe his lies and his ego and the scary shit that he manifests, and he's destroyed the Republican Party. And I don't know if there's time for a third party. All the Republicans that don't believe in some liberal agenda, which I get that. If you're not pro-choice, if you don't believe in certain social issues that plague the country, that we need to help those people. If you don't believe in helping mental health and infusing money, if you believe that rich people are being taxed too much, middle class, being taxed a lot. They shouldn't be taxed as much, but these rich people can't be taxed. These billionaires can't be taxed and pay less percentage than you and I are paying. That's what the Republicans want. That's what they keep voting for. Anyway, I really appreciate you watching. Thanks for watching this video, and we'll see you next time with some lighter material and entertainment and music and records. Take care.